Abilene's rock station, Rock 108. I'm on the phone with the lead singer of the band Tantric, Hugo Ferreira, man. And it's always a pleasure to talk to you, man. And you guys are coming back to Abilene tomorrow, playing at the Patio. It's going to be a killer show, and we get to hear some of the new stuff from the album, 37 Channels. I'm sure you guys will probably play some of the older Tantric stuff as well. But I just wanted to, first of all, man, if your singing voice is amazing. You know, as always, it's obviously one of the best voices out there, but your speaking voice is just as badass.
Yeah, well, it's weird. A lot of people, often, if they meet you before the show, they're like, are you going to be able to sing? And it's really weird because my speaking voice it sounds like, I just gargled glass. And for some reason, after it's all said and done, it all works out, So
yeah. Well,
it's doing good. I can always do radio after this.
Dude, I'm serious. Well, you sound like there's a couple of people, man. There's that sports guy, Scott Ferreira. He's he kind of, or he resembles your voice. And then, of course, you got the famous...
Yeah, I actually did an interview with him once, and it was really strange because nobody knew who was asking the questions or answering them.
And, as I've gotten older and everything, I've been in radio now for 18 years, but I've noticed that my voice is actually getting a little bit deeper. Not as deep as yours, obviously, but have you noticed that as you've gotten older, your voice getting even deeper?
Yeah, I don't know if it's... I still have the same range as far as singing, but my voice, I don't really think that you can get much deeper than this. I already sound like a white, very white. Maybe I should just call myself very black. But I definitely feel as I get older, I probably shouldn't jump off of speakers as much as I used to do.
Yeah, we were talking off mic, man. You actually injured your shoulder a little bit there, man. How's that going?
Well, I did this thing called the Latrobe Festival, and it's basically this huge festival, and basically there was all of my idols were there, and I had gotten pushed back, and I thought it would have been a good idea to do a 24-foot stage dive off the top. Yeah, in retrospect, don't ever let me do that again because I've got a ripped rotator cuff and all this stuff.
Oh man!
But it was cool while it lasted for that 1.9 seconds.
Yeah,
of
right.
falling.
Well, obviously, you guys have had some lineup changes over the years and everything. But what was it like going into, I guess, the recording process of this, as far as playing with other musicians and such?
This record I did a little differently. I recorded the record by myself, and then I found the players that I felt would be the best to fit the style of this record, and it works great. They're all really nice guys, and there's no drunken a-holes on any of them. So I've been very fortunate.
Well, the record that you're speaking about is the latest 37 Channels, which is in stores now. Now, what's the significance of the album title, first off?
Well, I have, I'm pretty much like the poster boy for adult ADHD, and basically it's referring to how all these tangents, the channels in my head, referring to how many tangents I'm currently on as, a normal person, I guess, would just be, it's very hard for me to focus on one thing. So it's basically kind of, sometimes my thoughts get the best of me. So, I'll go downstairs to get, a glass of water, and I'll come up with, a magazine and a microphone, So it's kind of referring to that, but it's a really personal record, and it just kind of reflected a lot of the stuff that I was going through. It was one of those records that I'm glad that it's out there, and I'm really proud of it. But it was I went through a lot of crap to write it,
So it's
meaning that the stories are based on true events, and those events were not fun.
Yeah, so it's a very emotional record for you.
I would say so. I would say probably one of the most emotional records I've ever written.
Now, did you kind of have an idea of what the new album, what you wanted it to sound like going in, or did you just kind of?
I actually didn't even think, not even subtly like that on this record. I kind of, it was in lieu of a therapist, really, but just kind of let out everything that I was feeling into like a musical format. And I actually wrote like probably about 120 different songs, and I didn't even know if they were going to go anywhere, like if they were going to go on the Tantric record. I just kept on writing. Mm-hmm. And basically I dwindled those down to these 13 that are on here, and we're going to be releasing like an add-on record to this.
Cool.
And I mean, there's just so many of them. I mean, sometimes I would go down and you know, I have nothing preconceived in my head. You know, I'll just go down and I'll just pick up a guitar or piano or whatever, and I'll start messing around with a riff, and I feel like the lyrics kind of already evolved from the color of the riff, meaning like the riff kind of already sets a mood, and then, you know, the lyrics kind of just, I don't know, it's very, very instinctual for me. It's not something that I think about. I just do it. And, you know, there's many songs that I, you know, would start, and then the next morning I'd go down and listen to it, and it was like the worst song I've ever wrote. And then there would be some songs that would come down, and I was like, wow, this is really, you know, kick-ass, or, you know, beautiful or emotional. And I just kind of put them all out there. You know, I didn't really try to write anything on purpose, you know. I would just write what I felt.
Well, how did you whittle it all down to an album? I mean, with so many songs in the can and everything.
That was really difficult to do. I had a little bit of help, you know, from people in the label and stuff that were kind of putting in their 2 cents and what they thought. But mostly I wanted the album to like flow, and, you know, I wanted it to be a record that you could just press play, and then it would take you through like a journey. And, you know, I hate records that you only like 2 songs on, and then you flip through the rest of them until you get your other favorite song. And this one kind of like, if you just listen to it from beginning to end, you know, it takes you from a rocker to something that's, you know, like Mosquito, that's very kind of tongue-in-cheek and fun, and into a, you know, piano ballad. And of course, you know, I had a lot of help from all my fellow artists that, you know, chipped in and joined in. And, you know, I had Shooter Jennings in there, I had Austin Winkler, Greg Upchurch. So there was a lot of people that you know, helped add on to the record, you know?
Right on. That's funny you say that, man, because I was actually going to be my next question. I was going to ask you because, you know, the Mosquito song came out, and, of course, that's got Shooter on it, Shooter Jennings of, you know, Waylon Jennings' son there, but also Austin from Hinder and everything. How was it working with all of these? I mean, because, you know, you're talking about different influences. Obviously, Shooter Jennings is more of a, you know, kind of a, I wouldn't say country. He's more kind of a rocket country, I would say.
He's kind of, like, I mean, when I wrote Mosquito, it was like, I thought that it was a really cool song, and I thought that it had kind of a dirty country southern vibe. And I'm not even really a huge country fan, but I am a huge Shooter fan. And I was like, you know, this would be really cool to have him on this. And it was just kind of by luck that I was able to get everybody, you know, to do this, you know, because Shooter recorded his vocals like in Los Angeles, and then, you know, I even had Leif Garrett on one of the songs.
Wow.
And that song, ironically, the song is kind of making fun of like child stars and stuff, and I've known Leif for a long time, and he was cool enough to, like, you know, poke fun at it himself. and I thought that it was kind of clever that to have him on. A lot of people don't know who he is that are a little bit younger than we are, but hey, somehow it all worked out,
Now, I wanted to kind of go a little personal on you. I'd heard, and I don't know if this is still true or not, with life and everything, but I heard that you're engaged now. Is that true?
I am engaged.
Congratulations, man.
It's my first time,
Yeah.
I figured, might try that. No, I'm engaged and I've never been married before. I don't have any kids, and it just I met a really cool person, wonderful, puts up with my crap, so it was kind of a no-brainer.
How did you propose? Did you take her out and like on a lake somewhere or something?
Well, first of all, it kind of it was very unromantic in the sense of I didn't have this huge plan, like everything I do. It was kind of all right. And then I had her kind of pick out a few rings, but I never told her that I was getting any of them. I was like, if you were to get a ring, which one would you get? And then the ring, I ordered the ring and it got custom made. And basically when it got when it got here in the mail, I basically was in my boxer shorts and I woke her up and I was like, hey, would you like to put one of these on your finger? It was kind of like that, but she's really funny and it was cool, But she's definitely an awesome person and a great friend and absolutely beautiful, and she travels with me on the road, so that's cool too,
That's badass, man. Well, congratulations on that, man.
Yeah, well, I've given up a lot from music, so I figured it was time for me to give myself something. Right
on. Is it kind of scary to think about being married or anything like that, or have you had any kind of jitters yet or anything?
No, not at all. I mean, I'm actually really looking forward to it. She already lives with me, so it's not going to be that much different. But I come from an old school Portuguese family, and she's 100% Italian. So and it's old school, so it's there's all these traditional things that you got to do and to meet the parents. And that was the only kind of thing that I was nervous about, make sure that everybody likes each other.
Right.
And everybody does love each other, so it just kind of, when it feels right, that whole cliche when you know.
Oh, yeah, definitely, man.
Well, I always thought that was BS until, I actually felt that way. And I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind that this is right. So I'm looking forward to it very, very much. And, it's just another, part of my life, and hopefully I'll be able to create other things other than just music with her.
So
maybe a little mini Hugo.
Mini Hugo's running around. Hell yeah, man.
That would be cool.
Can you imagine teaching everything that you know in the business to your kid?
I would. If my kid wants to play music, I would definitely support him. I would not encourage him to go into the music industry because it is kind of a difficult business to deal with, and it's a gift and a burden at the same time. But I mean, of course I want my kid to play music, but I just don't want him to have to go through all the crap that I went through to get to the point where I'm at.
Right.
And the ups and downs. When it's up, it's really great. But when it's down, it sucks.
To get back to what you were talking about the business and everything, the business side, I mean, it's changed so much over the years, and like I said, I've only been in radio for 18 years, a couple of decades almost, but it's changed so much. I remember going to getting my first cassette tape and reading the liner notes and, getting to know the band and everything like that. Nowadays, it's just you go download something and you don't really know anything, so.
Yeah, and that's the downfall of how it is right now, and hopefully it'll implode and kind of balance itself out with what it used to be, because I really do feel that, a lot of dehumanization has happened in the music industry right now, even as far as radio stations. And I remember when DJs used to be able to pick their own music, that they wanted to play. And, I hope that it kind of reverts back to the place where people get excited about buying an album and looking at the pictures inside of the record. And I remember when I bought my first record, I was just so stoked to open up the album and look at the inside. And now everything is just like people just do it over their iPhone or whatnot.
Yeah.
Kind of takes a little bit of the magic away.
It does, man, especially if you're like a true music lover. Like, I know you're a huge fan of music, and that's what kind of separates you from other bands out there that are just kind of out there just to get the fame and the money and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah. Well, I think that is a natural progression. I think a lot of young bands, when they get signed, they get caught up, and that's a lot of what labels take advantage of. And it would be nice to see that come back into play.
Well, man, I don't want to take too much more of your time and everything. I know you guys, got a pretty extensive tour going through September. What's going to be up for Tantric after that tour? Are you going to get a little downtime there?
We plan on touring for a long time, and then after that, I think we're going to be hitting Europe. And like I said, there's going to be a second record that's going to be like kind of a part 2 to this one.
Right on.
That's coming out, and then we're going to be doing a brand new record in the beginning of next year. So I plan on staying busy for a while.
Sounds like it, man. Well, Hugo, it's always a pleasure, brother, and we'll see you tomorrow whenever you guys invade Abilene at the patio.
All right, man. Well, God bless, and I will do my best to rock it out.